Can we blame God for our faults and problems? I often hear this question raised, that if God really cared about us and our lives here on this planet, whether for each of us as individuals or humankind as a species, or maybe that if there is an almighty creator who created all living things in the universe and is watching over everything, then why does this creator allow such harm, pain, suffering and conflict to come to us? Now, if you really take a moment to think about this, then I'm sure that you too will see that God does not cause pain and suffering. God is not at fault for any of the pain and suffering here on earth, personal or at a global species level. Just give this some thought for a moment. What you might see as painful, the person sitting right next to you might see the exact same thing as pleasurable, as crazy as that might seem. What it really comes down to is the way we each individually choose to see or view the given issue. What we see as important or not important is how much we will allow that given situation to affect us. But to blame God, or for that matter anyone or anything else, for the way we choose to see the situation, painful or not, is really the wrong way to be looking at things. Now, I do not want to be taken out of context here. But from the earliest stages of religion, we have seen ourselves as created in God's image. This is not to say that we are equal to God on an individual level, but within each of us, we have, or more to the point, we can choose to have the exact same qualities as God, or at least the God we would like to believe is ruling over us. Endless love, true and honest compassion, the ability to give much more than we receive, in all things and at all times. Yet it is only our own view, again the way we choose to see, believe and understand things, that creates the world we see around us. We each have been given free will to choose what we do, how we think about it, and how we react all the time and every time. This is not something directed by God or an all-powerful creator. This is something chosen by us, chosen by you and me every day and in every moment. The way we think, the way we react, and the choices that we make, and every day without exception. You see, God also learns from us. We are all created individually and with free will, so we can make choices about how we choose to live. Yes, you right now, listening to this, will be making choices about it. It is us as a species on this planet, with the free will that has been given to us, that get to choose what I like to call the God consciousness. It is up to each of us to decide what God we want to rule over this earth. Sadly, at the moment, we are all responsible for choosing an earthly God, one of greed, possession, ownership over land and territory, one who views race, colour, or even religion as a reason to form hatred. Sadly, all of these things only exist here on this planet, nowhere else. The moment we die, the only thing in life that is guaranteed to happen to all of us, none of these things will exist anymore. Their importance will all be gone. Now, the suffering we may perceive here on earth is only the suffering that's caused by us. A big statement, I know, but please follow along. Yes, there is natural disasters that bring about huge pain and loss, as insurance companies like to call them, acts of God. But they are also just a natural cycle and breathing pattern of this earth. But even here, we do nothing to help prevent such things. Now, it is not new science or even hard for anyone to understand that nature, the very living essence of God, is needed. We know that the forests clean the air we breathe, filter the water we drink, yet as a species we choose to ignore all of this and do so at our own peril. So we just keep on pushing down trees and dumping our wastes into rivers and our oceans to just keep on fueling our earthly driven needs. This need that keeps on pushing us to believe that we have to have more things, more possessions, more ownership. It is not hard to see how this affects the planet and pushes natural disasters to occur more often. But that's our need. That belongs to a need in you and me. It is not a need for God. God does not cause us condemnation. We cause that to ourselves. We choose a God of destruction on this earth as opposed to a God of love and peace, which we could just as easily choose. We choose not to. Might sound a bit ridiculous and kind of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand that. But we still choose not to. We make that conscious decision not to every single day. We are happy to treat life, all living things, as ours to use till they are no more. We pretend to place high value on life, but draw the line at human life, and maybe some animals that we might see as useful. However, God is in all life, not just the life of you and me, but in every living thing, every plant, insect, fish and mammal on this planet. God lives in life. So even the smallest plant or animal deserves our respect. You see, as a human species, we could solve right now a lot of the problems on this earth. We have sufficient infrastructure, technology and know-how. Certainly more than enough people to make these things work. We could easily feed all the people on this planet. We can easily ship water into places that are affected by drought, but we choose not to. You see, it is cheaper to dump food than it is to ship it across to places that really require it. There is more money to be made from shipping oil than there would be from giving water away. But that is a choice we make. And right now, as a species, we choose not to do these things. You see, if we wanted to, and not driven by our greedy, money-driven God that we are letting rule us at the moment, but instead we choose every day in our own personal lives to be that loving and giving God, we could relieve 90% of the suffering on this planet. Right now, not an easy task, I never said that, but yes, it is something we could do. Of course, there will always be suffering on a personal level that you might still want to blame God for. But that really comes down to how you want to see and view things. Let's just say you have a horrible illness and only a short time left to live. It does not sound nice. However, this would still be your experience, yours and yours alone. No one else gets to have it. You could look at it as a morbid, horrible thing, or you could look at it as something that is a gift that pushes you to live life to the fullest, because you know you have a deadline. Whereas other people around you just continue to meander through life and do not even know their end is coming. And then the next second they step off a sidewalk and get cleaned up by a bus. But no matter what happens in your life, it is yours to view any way you want to. You can blame, you can seek revenge, or you can find forgiveness and understanding. Again, I never said it would be easy. Free will is not easy. You know the truth that the suffering that we suffer on a personal level is something that we think about consciously. It isn't something that is pushed down to us from God. God provides everything on this earth for us that we would need to live a blessed and peaceful life if we chose to. The truth is that we don't. It is easier for us to just go down to the supermarket and buy the next little thing that we think we need to survive the next day. Much easier than it is to think about change. We allow the powers that be that control this planet to keep on pushing greed, and we keep on being greedy, and to keep on feeding our need that we think we have inside us, that we don't have enough, that we have to have more. Again, we are free to think about this differently if we want to. This greed-driven world is no longer in the interest of all of mankind. Sadly, it is not working in this way. It is not a case that all of the rules and laws work for the benefit of the majority of humankind anymore. And to me, that is just sad. The idea that God punishes us is not real. Well, not so much as we choose to punish ourselves. It is up to us each individually and as a species to choose the consciousness of God on this planet. Our gift of free will allows for this if we are created in God's image. And if that is the case, we are also capable as a species, not as individuals of course, but then your individual actions every day and at every single moment all go up to make that consciousness. To change this planet, to take responsibility for our choices, and to start to accept the free will that has been given to us, and to finally stop thinking that God creates and causes so much suffering on this planet. This is not fair or right. The truth is, no, He doesn't. We do. And because of this, we have to make decisions about what we do. We have to make decisions about how we choose to live life and how we choose to leave it for the next future generation. Not just your grandchildren, not just your children, not for the next 100 years, but what about the next 10,000 years? We have to stop where we are right now. We have to make a mental change, a global mental consciousness, a God that is just, giving, forgiving, understanding, forgetting and loving. But no, we would rather choose to be ruled by greed, ownership and possession. Things that the moment you die, you don't have anymore, yet we fight so hard for in this life, to have and to hold. You see, heaven is here on earth. This life is God's gift to us, yet as a species we choose hell. Why? I mean, really, why? Every single day, at every single moment, the decisions that we make as individuals accumulate into a species. And really, is this the heaven that we want? Because this is the heaven that we are choosing. This is where we all live. We're all here. We're all here together. It is time to choose a new God, one of true love, forgiveness and understanding. A God that lives inside each and every single one of us all the time and at every single moment. Anyway, life's blessings to you all, love to you all, and to all who you love. Amen.